everyone, today we're diving into the thrilling world of Exit, a 2019 South Korean blockbuster that ranked third at the box office, just behind Parasite and Extreme Job. As you know, Koreans excel at making disaster films like Train to Busan and The Flu. But have you ever seen a disaster comedy? Meet our protagonist, Yong Nam, an unemployed slacker who spends his days doing pull-ups at the park, earning him the nickname Pull-Up Guy.
영남이 진봉남. 진봉남? 걔 누군데? 징계가 철봉남이라고 동네에서 유명해. 옛날에 저 아저씨 애니 철봉하다가 떨어져서 죽었대. 그래서 미쳐가지고 철봉을 보면 저러는데.
The kid in the red shirt is Yong Nam's nephew. His whole family disapproves of his idle lifestyle, and even his nephew isn't shy about showing it.
양주, 진봉남 저 아저씨가 너네 삼촌이야? 아니야, 진짜 아니라고.
It's not that Yong Nam doesn't try to find a job, he's just failed interview after interview. Sometimes, a disaster doesn't need to be an earthquake or a tsunami. Yong Nam's life itself is a disaster. Yong Nam lives with his parents. His three older sisters are married with kids, and his eldest sister, Yoon Hyun, is particularly concerned about him.
내가 머리 자르려고 했다? 시간도 쳐 남아도는 새끼가 있어. 나 미치겠네. 남는 그냥 내가 갖고.
누굴 거지로 하나.
She can't stand his messy room and his climbing gear strewn everywhere. Back in college, Yong Nam was a top climber on the university team until he met Ju at a competition.
야, 이 새끼야! 길 좀 봐라, 제발! 나 좀만 더 힘내요!
A slip caused him to fall, while Ju climbed to the top, winning his heart in the process. Today is his mother's 70th birthday, and the whole family is at a hotel to celebrate. During the party, relatives ask him about his job prospects, offering platitudes like things will get better. His younger siblings, however, secretly envy his carefree life. As the cake-cutting ceremony approaches, Yong Nam spots Ju working as the assistant manager. What a coincidence! Or is it? He actually knew she worked there and chose this hotel just to see her. 4 years ago, he had confessed his feelings to Ju but was gently rejected.
뭐 내가 충격받고 울고불고 그랬을까?
The party reaches its peak with sons-in-law competing to lift the birthday girl, leaving Yong Nam no chance to shine. Meanwhile, in another banquet hall, the manager tries to pursue Ju, but she firmly rejects him. At the same time, a truck carrying chemicals arrives at the ANSI chemical building. The driver opens the valve, releasing a massive cloud of gas that spreads to the commercial district. At first, bystanders take photos for social media, but soon they realize the danger. Those who inhale the gas suffer from tight throats and difficulty breathing, with some collapsing and dying within minutes. In no time, the city plunged into chaos as drivers were poisoned, causing a series of car accidents. These crashes affected a gas station, leading to an explosion, and a burning truck collided with a gas cylinder truck. The sudden disaster struck the banquet hall, sending everyone into a panic. Ju quickly sounded the alarm, notifying other guests to evacuate immediately. On the streets, everyone was running for their lives, causing a massive traffic jam. Ju suggested seeking shelter back inside the building. However, the elder sister had already started her car. But soon, toxic gas engulfed her. She tripped and inhaled the gas, suffering facial burns and severe breathing difficulties. The gas had already spread several blocks and continued to rise. Yong Nam quickly determined that they needed to reach the rooftop for safety, but his warnings were ignored by his skeptical relatives.
내 말 좀 들어줘요, 제발.
When they reached the rooftop, they found the door locked, and the key was in the security office on the ground floor. Now engulfed in toxic gas, the manager was supposed to have a spare key, but he had carelessly lost it. The only options were to break in or open it from the outside. Due to the difficulty of evacuation and rescue in the contaminated area, officials advised using gas masks available in public places and covering as much skin as possible while sheltering in a safe area. The hotel had 3 masks, but their effective usage time was only 10 to 15 minutes. Helicopter rescues had started, but there were few helicopters, and they could only reach the higher floors, meaning they needed to get to the rooftop for rescue. With this in mind, Yong Nam came up with a plan. The hotel's glass was tough, but they had to keep trying to break it. Yong Nam's plan was to climb to the rooftop, a seemingly crazy idea but feasible upon closer thought. The hotel had emergency ropes and other gear. Yong Nam tied the rope, put on his sneakers, and was about to set off when his father stopped him. Seeing his mother approaching, Yong Nam didn't hesitate and rushed out. The whole family watched in fear and worry as Yong Nam climbed over the railing with all his might. However, this was just the beginning. Fellow climber Ju, knowing what he needed next, tossed over some chalk and climbing carabiners. The chalk, when crushed, could be used as face powder to prevent his hands from sweating and slipping. Once prepared, Yong Nam swiftly climbed to the high platform, secured the rope, and started the real climb. Using an iron bar, he jumped onto the building, climbing along the wall until he gradually disappeared from sight. Yong Nam's regular fitness and climbing skills quickly brought him to a corner, but a new problem arose: the rope wasn't long enough. After some thought, Yong Nam made a decision. He untied the safety rope and started free climbing. Every step was incredibly dangerous, especially the 90-degree lion head statue he had once failed to conquer. This time, he pushed his limits, grabbed a protrusion, and finally reached the top. Reaching the rooftop didn't guarantee rescue. The group waved their arms and shouted at the helicopter, but it was too far for the pilot to hear or see them. At this moment, Ju had an idea. She turned on a flashlight, raised it above her head, and arranged everyone to signal SOS. Authorities had classified the gas incident as a terrorist attack by chemist Yang. Reportedly, Yang launched the attack out of revenge after being fired from his company. The gas could cause a massive chemical reaction even in small amounts and lasted a long time. Yong Nam and the others kept signaling, but there was no response. As time was running out, the two brothers brought some equipment, connected it to a power source, and continued to call for help. About to miss another rescue chance, Ju had a stroke of genius. She turned the circuit breaker on and off, making the light sign flash. The helicopter noticed, immediately changing course and flying toward them. Finally, everyone was rescued. Ju fell while climbing the stairs, and by the time she got back, the basket was already overloaded. The basket could hold up to 20 people, but any more and the cables might snap. The manager had somehow snuck in, leaving only Yong Nam and Ju behind. Yong Nam's family shouted for him to hurry over, ignoring Ju's fate. In life and death situations, everyone looks out for themselves. Ju understood Yong Nam's family, and as the assistant manager, it made sense for her to let the customers go first. Still, she felt deeply wronged. The helicopter soon reappeared, but to their surprise, it flew toward another building with more survivors at higher floors, making them more visible. Unfortunately, the harsh reality is that the higher you live, the more likely you are to be rescued. With toxic gas about to reach the rooftop, they needed to relocate quickly. Fully equipped, the two returned to the ground and started sprinting through congested streets in search of a taller building. In their rapid breathing state, their gas masks would only last about 10 minutes. By the time they reached the rooftop, they were at their limit. With only one spare filter in the bag, Yong Nam decided to use it first.
뭐 하는 거야? 오빠. 아니 뭐 어디 가는 거야? 아니 어디 가?
Yu realized she had to save herself. She climbed up the pipes with all her strength, reaching the rooftop and furiously cursing Yong Nam for being a beast.
내가 너 절대 용서 안 해, 용남. 치사한 새끼가 그럴 줄 알았어.
안 보여가지고 엄청 걱정했네. 그래 다행이다.
It turned out to be a misunderstanding. After a brief rest, Yong Nam and Yu continued to the higher floors, only to find that the rooftop was also locked. Below, there was a gym. They used fans to disperse the remaining toxic gas and tied dumbbells to ropes, throwing them to the opposite building so the weight would wedge them into the wall. Estimating the weight was sufficient, Yu went first, slowly climbing across. However, one dumbbell didn't secure properly and almost fell. With the reduced weight, Yu had to hold the rope tight. When it was Yong Nam's turn, a new problem arose. Below was a barbecue restaurant whose chimney was sucking in the toxic gas and expelling it outside, causing the rooftop to fill with smoke. Seeing this, Yong Nam retreated. As the gas crept closer, Yu, without protection, needed to get away. But if she untied the rope, Yong Nam might not make it. As he hesitated, a metal ball crashed down. In the face of disaster, Yong Nam summoned incredible strength. Meanwhile, Yong Nam's family had been moved to a safe area. His father, still worried, decided to take a taxi to check nearby. Unable to enter the toxic zone, he could only pray from across the river. Coincidentally, someone was illegally flying a drone by the river. Yong Nam's father begged to borrow it to find his son in the toxic zone. Initially, they refused until he offered a bribe. Back with Yong Nam and Yu, they reached the rooftop, their final escape point. To increase their rescue chances, they falsely reported 20 people. The chaos made it hard to tell, but they soon noticed that the tutoring center in the neighboring building also had people, mostly students. Due to the rooftop being locked, they were trapped in their rooms, unable to be seen by the helicopter even if they called for help. Due to the intense job pressures in South Korea, many rooftops are locked to prevent suicides. Yu pointed out a ladder nearby, but the students, lacking physical strength and training, risked severe injury or worse if they tried to climb it. Just then, the helicopter arrived. Yong Nam and Yu were torn. If they left, what would happen to the students? Realizing that they couldn't be seen from the air, Yu quickly decided to knock down an advertising sign and use their bodies to form an arrow. Following the arrow's direction, the pilot finally spotted the tutoring center. The students were rescued, but Yong Nam and Yu missed their chance to escape once again. To make matters worse, a secondary explosion at a gas station stirred up the previously settled toxic gas, which began moving toward them. Their only hope was the tall tower crane in the distance. They had to reach it to survive. They used a mattress from the mall for cushioning and jumped down, then sprinted along the sky bridge. Finding a gap in the bridge, they used a railing as a makeshift ladder. At that moment, a drone appeared. Yong Nam's dad had indeed found him but could only maintain contact, not assist directly. The drone owner sold the story to the media, and soon the escape was broadcast live on TV. Yong Nam and Yu's parkour-like dash to safety captivated the public, overshadowing even the most intense video games with this real-life survival scenario.
빠르게 확산되는 가스를 피해 달리고 있는 두 사람의 모습이 정말 대단해 보입니다.
The escape became a nationwide event. Yong Nam and Yu pushed themselves to the limit, running and climbing up the advertising structures. However, when they reached the rooftop, they realized the crane was still far away with no safe path to reach it. Turning back wasn't an option as the gas had surrounded their previous route. Trapped and desperate, they broke down in tears. Miraculously, several drones appeared. Seeing the news, many drone pilots had deployed to offer remote assistance. They used their drones to help clear the toxic gas. Inspired, Yong Nam called one of the drones closer, wrote instructions with chalk, and had the drone operator follow his plan. Yong Nam tied a rope to the drone, which then looped it around a pipe on the opposite side. After several attempts, the drone successfully completed the task. A rope connected the two buildings, and it was up to them to make the crossing. However, due to the angle and their weight, they were stuck in mid-air, and worse, the rope began to fray. In a critical moment, Ju pulled out pliers, cut the rope, and decided to risk it all. The scene froze at their fall, leaving their fate uncertain. The unfinished building had safety nets, but the helicopter circling nearby couldn't spot them. Just as the pilot was about to turn away, fireworks burst into the sky. Despite numerous obstacles, they reached the crane and used fireworks from their bag to signal for help. This sudden toxic gas crisis had a silver lining: they survived. Back at the camp as dawn broke, Yong Nam tearfully embraced his family. Ju also called her parents to let them know she was safe. At that moment, the manager appeared, feigning concern for Ju's injuries. Ju's slap was immensely satisfying. Later, Yong Nam tried to return the carabiner to Ju, but she refused, saying the rope was too heavy and she'd get it next time. Her excuse was flimsy, and if Yong Nam didn't understand her feelings now, he would truly be a fool. If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll continue to bring you more exciting recaps. Thank you for your support, and see you next time.